What up, what up, what up, what up, people? It's your boy Marv, and this is The Nerds in the Hood. Back again, back at it. Folks, it's another fun edition of the Movie Pass Movements with your boy Marv. This is basically where I use my patented, well, I can't say patented, but I use my now favorite thing in the world, the Movie Pass from AMC, where I just go to the movies one day out the week, sometimes two, and I catch a movie courtesy of AMC, $25 a month. I'm good in any neighborhood with this Movie Pass. This is a movie that I wasn't really trying to see. I wasn't checking for it, but once I started reading about the news and everything, well, let me chronicleize it first. So the movie that I went out to see was called It Ends With Us, which is a new film, just came out last weekend, stars Blake Lively, also has Jenny Slate in it, Hassan Minaj, what's the guy's name? Justin Baldoni. All these people are in it, and it is a very, very, very interesting tale about relationships, love, and sometimes how love can be blind in the case of abuse. Now, this is not something for me to be proud of or be happy of. It was a good film. However, there's a lot that goes into this because even though they say it ends with us, it don't end with us when it comes to off the scenes, because behind the scenes, behind closed doors, turns out all the cast of this movie was beefing, right? So when I went home from seeing this movie, my girl had told me that almost everybody on this film was beefing with the director. The director is Justin Baldoni, who is also the star of the movie. Now, for them to be beefing, it had to be some real deal nitty gritty type of situations. But again, like I said, the movie is basically about dealing with abuse and love and relationships. It is a woman who moves from Maine to Boston after being with her family for so long, her mother and father, watching her mother get abused by her father and not really leave him or seek help or anything, just kind of going with the motions. And then her father ends up dying. She moves to Boston, meets this dude. His name is, in the movie, his name is Rod Kincaid. Rod Kincaid. Rod Kincaid. Yep, I was right. So she meets this dude. He basically like kind of goes really cringy crazy to try to get with her. He ends up getting with her. They go out for a little while. You know what I'm saying? He falls in love. He gets her to fall in love with him. They get married, eventually have a kid, happily ever after, right? Wrong. Basically what happens is at some point they cleverly disguise the fact that he abused Blake Lively's character, whose name in the movie was Lily Blossom Bloom. What saves her in this case is that she stands up for herself and doesn't fight him back, but she basically lets him know, like, I'm not going to go into this cycle again. I'm not going to repeat history through myself. I'm going to take a stand and bounce, and psychologically gets my man to realize, like, we can't be together. And what also saves her is her childhood love, a man named Atlas, that she meets when she was younger and he was homeless, just running through the streets all days and nights. They reconnect when they get older. He's owning a big time restaurant now in Boston. She's owning a big time flower shop in Boston. They reconnect, and by the end of the movie, they fall back in love. So it ends with us. I cannot say why it's called It Ends With Us, but what I can say is that they do explain what is the purpose of it in the movie when you go see it. So I will leave that for the movie. I will not spoil it. But another reason that I chose to see this movie, outside of the drama that happens behind the scenes, which I'll tell you in a minute, is because it is an adaptation. This movie is based off of a book. This book was a bestseller by Colleen Hoover. She wrote this book back in 2016, so almost 10 years ago. And it was a bestseller. There's a lot of just women all over the country who probably love this. And I'm not going to say what race they are, but let's just say, it's looking real light in here. Anyway, so no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. A lot of women like this book, but a lot of non-women like this book. So it blew up, and now I got an adaptation. Justin Baldoni had a strong hand in putting this together and making it work. You know what I'm saying? And that's what made us also want to talk about it too, because we're all about adaptations here at Nerds in the Hood. We talk video game adaptations, book adaptations, comic book adaptations, manga adaptations, and anime live action adaptations. We're all about that. If I didn't say video game, I'm gonna say it again. We're all about that. So we like to see those things, whether they're good or bad, but we hope that they're good so we don't have to complain about how bad it is. Thankfully, this wasn't one of those cases where it was bad. But the sad thing is, this movie, as good as it is, right? This movie right now is the number 2 movie in America. It's the number 2 movie, I believe, in Canada, if it's not the first one. And it's one of the top movies in like Ireland. It's number 1 in other countries across the world. Right now, it's making over $80 million, basically. It made over 50 million in America, 80 million worldwide. It's already broken his budget record, which was 25 mil. It's doing big things, you know. Blake Lively just made history with Ryan Reynolds as being the second husband and wife combination to have movies drop like kind of close to each other, but both be the top movies in the box office for the weekend. Now, the drama that unfolded, which sucks, is the fact that the director, Justin Baldoni, was kind of tripping backstage, apparently. Take this with a grain of salt. This is just from what I've been reading. He's been beefing with Blake Lively, beefing with the castmates, beefing with Colleen Hoover. They don't even rock with my mans on Instagram or no social media. They don't follow him back. He follows all of them. In front of the cameras, obviously, he's going to be mad cool about it. He's going to be like, yo, those are my peoples. He even said Blake Lively should direct a sequel because she wrote 2 books. It ends with us and it starts with us. It starts with us as the sequel. So naturally, there will be a sequel. But it's just the fact that they say he was almost like art imitating life. He was almost like kind of twisted like his character. His character was, unfortunately, an abuser in the movie. Not saying he was abusing people in real life, but he might have been verbally maybe just coming at people the wrong way. He might have been speaking out of pocket. And we know nobody wants to be spoken to out of pocket. It was so crazy. Reportedly, Ryan Reynolds, who had nothing to do with the movie, got involved and had to like kind of similar situation down. He helped with the promotion of the movie. I believe he was speaking with one of the actors, I think the guy who plays Atlas, and he spoke with him in an interview where he played around and Ryan Reynolds got, I think, his actual mother and Hugh Jackman, aka Wolverine himself, to kind of like give him the 3rd-degree burn. So it was stuff like that where they were messing around, but they still had their hand in the marketing. You know what I mean? Ryan Reynolds ended up, I think, tagging himself in it as a producer. Blake Lively ended up getting herself involved as a producer. It's a lot of different things. They might not even have Justin Baldoni back for the sequel, or if he is, he'll probably be involved in a little way. If you see in the movie, like I said, he has a kid with Blake Lively's character, so he'll probably be involved slightly because he's the baby father. But there is not really a way where he could write this story again. Now, there is a lot of, like, even my phone's blowing up because there's a whole bunch of stuff about it. But there is so much stuff that's going on behind the scenes about this, about how they're beefing. They had apparently a video of Blake Lively and Justin like arguing with each other, but that's not it. Apparently, that wasn't even like a real argument. It was like them shooting a scene from the movie. So we don't know how much truth there is to a lot of this stuff. We don't really know the actual truth unless we're on that set. But what I do know is, and I gotta get deep real quick. It's sad that we're looking more to the serious nature of what's going on behind the scenes because we like messiness. Just like I said in my Love Island episode, we came for the messiness instead of being hype about the movie itself. If you read the book, you already came into this on 1,000 because you're like, oh, this movie's gonna be fire. There's things about this that's gonna be cool. There's things about this that's not gonna be cool. Yes, don't get me wrong. This is a movie, so there's things that you have to let go. There's things when I saw the movie, I was like, this wouldn't happen in real life. Like Jenny Slate's character, Alyssa, just randomly walking into a job and just talking to somebody for like 5 minutes with no resume just so she could try to get a job, and she got the job and then became best friends with the boss. That doesn't really happen all the time, but in some cases it does. But those are just examples of things you got to kind of look at and go, okay. But it's a movie. You know these stupid things are going to happen, especially in rom-com movies. Even though it wasn't a comedy, you get what I'm saying, in romance-type love movies. Now, the whole purpose of the movie was, one, to adapt the book to a good T, and two, to just represent the fact that there are still people in abusive relationships. And it's sad, and they need to find the help and the outlet to escape, so they won't get put in a situation where they can get severely hurt or worse. And if you know somebody that's going through that, try your best to help them out outside of just prayer. Try your best to be there for them. Try your best to help them get out of that situation if you can. But a movie like that with such a powerful message is getting just overshadowed, basically, by the fact that there's so much drama going on behind the scenes. Like, I couldn't even enjoy the movie or even talk about the movie the next day because the first thing I heard was like, yo, you heard such and such is beefing with such and such. All over social media, if you look up this movie, one of the first things you will find is the fact that they was beefing. Is the fact that Blake Lively was beefing with Justin. Is the fact that Justin was beefing with other people on set. Is the fact that Justin was even beefing with the author of the book because she had to be there to oversee things. Anybody who makes these projects and they're getting adapted into movies or television series, they have to kind of be there to be like, yeah, I can see that happen. All right, let that rock. They ain't just there for the check. So it just, to me, that's all I want to say. I have my movie ranking system, which is valid it's great. It's all right because it's all right. And nah, this ain't it if it's hot doodle trash. In this case, I'm going to say, and I hate to use the outside interference, but I'm going to have to put it, I'm going to say, no, you know what? I'm going to say it's valid because it is a valid movie. It just sucks that the outside interference of what's going on behind the scenes stops it from getting the positive attention that it deserves. Because again, this is a movie with a deep message. It's a movie with a powerful message about these type of situations that do happen to certain people, that can be relatable to certain people and make people feel like, damn, watching this movie really hits me. And this is that kind of movie about abuse and dealing with abuse that's almost kind of like, I want that to happen to a person in real life. Like, I want them to be able to get out of their situation the way that Blake Lively's character did. And I hope that they can. Unfortunately, she had to have a baby and then realized after she had the baby, like, I can't be in this situation. I'm not going to raise a kid with this man while he's hurting me. But when you compare it to other movies back in the day, like when Jennifer Lopez did Enough, for example, and Shorty spent like 3 days learning how to fight MMA, and then in 3 days she was already as tough as like Ronda Rousey or Amanda Nunes and was able to fight this man just like it was nothing. She had like ultimate strength and everything. And I got the message in it. It's just, I felt the fight was just unbelievable. Like, it should have been more something where like she hid and ran off somewhere and he couldn't find her and she was training. Maybe if it was like 2 weeks, maybe. Even then, that's a little tough to believe. But 2 weeks, I would have been like, all right, I can see it. So for 3 days or something like that, several days, that's not enough time. You still didn't even get your conditioning up yet. Your conditioning just started getting used to your body. So anyway, I'm just saying that to say, like, there was movies in the past about abuse that just weren't that believable. And we have music videos like my favorite, Eve's Love is Blonde, that let you know, like, yo, this is real. This is a real situation. And this movie, even though it had its moments where it got a little fantasy base and maybe a little bit over the top, there was moments where you had to come to the realization, like, yo, this is sometimes how love starts, but this is sometimes how love can trick you. And you got to be mindful of both times. You know what I'm saying? There was times where this woman who did not want to be in a relationship with this man was swayed by this man's tactics to get with her, to get with Lily, to the point where Lily was like, all right, you got it. You got it. Even though she wanted it, she was willing. She was playing hard to get for a while in the movie. And then eventually everything was just coming full circle. Everything was coming through too many coincidences where she was like, I gotta do it. Like the fact that she hired Jenny Slate's character, Alyssa, and then weeks later, after they built their bond of friendship, she finds out Alyssa's brother is this dude that keeps trying to get with her. So it's a lot of those things that make you say, like, wow, this was meant to be, and this is cool. The way he proposed to her, over the top, but hey, this is what you want in a love story sometimes. But with that unfortunate caveat that he was unfortunately abusive. He had a rage problem that was hard to control, and he needed help. So it was a both sides thing where it's like he needed help controlling his rage, but she also needed help controlling her emotions over him so she can get out of this situation. She couldn't just go off of love and we have a kid. She knew she had to bounce. So this really got me. I wasn't even supposed to get caught up in this movie, but I started feeling the movie. I liked it. It was good. It had a powerful message, despite its over-the-top love story vibes. But again, the whole thing that's crazy is that this is one of those movies where it's rare that you hear so much about the backstage drama that you really kind of forget how cool the movie probably was. It's not often, right? You don't sit here and go, man, Avengers Endgame was so fire. Too bad about what happened to freaking Scarlett Johansson with her whole argument about getting paid more in bread or suing Disney. You ain't hear about that like that. It was quick. It was in and out. It was in and out. Had you heard about that, Black Widow probably would have been even more not cared about. So just to hear about that stuff, really, it does suck for me. Like, to be honest with you, I love a whole messy situation, but I love it when it's like in a good vibe. Like when you watch a reality show and nobody fights, they just arguing, they yelling with each other, but then the next day they're like, you know what, my fault, fam. I could have handled that a lot better. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. We don't know if this is going to get resolved by the time they make a sequel. All we can do is hope. And if the sequel is made by Blake Lively, well, maybe it'll be cool. Hopefully she won't try to make it too cheesy and then nobody cares. But all we can do is wait and see. This is based off a best-selling book. If the lady makes another book, we might have a trilogy on our hands. It is a better love story for a guy that doesn't watch a lot of love stories. This is not, it's not one of the greats like Sleepless in Seattle or When Harry Met Sally, but it's better than like 50 Shades of Grey or some of the other love stories you've probably seen in the past at least, 5 years maybe? Like, let's be real. When's the last like few fire love movies you've seen? This one might be holding it down for the 2020s. You know what I mean? When you look back at it when it's 2030, you might say this was one of the good ones for 2020. So we're going to say that's a valid. But hey, look it up. Look it up. I'm not making this stuff up. Look it up online. It's a whole bunch of drama between all these actors and actresses on this movie. It's like everybody in the actors versus Justin Baldoni, the director, just saying that this man was wilding for respect the whole time, and they wasn't tolerating it anymore. Even the lady who wrote the book was like, "Yo, just you getting on my nerves." So whatever happened, I hope they fix it. We don't really want to. I don't want to see no beef. But outside of that, the movie was great. So make sure you check that out when you get a chance. It's called It Ends With Us. Available everywhere right now in theaters everywhere. If you got that movie pass, perfect time to use it. If you need a third movie for the week and you can't decide what, go see that movie. You feel me? Go see that movie. It's straight. As usual, you can catch us on all social media at Nerds in the Hood. Go to our description below. In there is the link to our link tree, which will take you to all our social media in one simple click. And if you've seen the movie already, hit me up in the comments. Let me know how you felt about it. Talk to me about it. If there's something I'm missing, let me know. I don't mind being wrong. But tell me how you felt. Did you like the movie? You thought it was valid? You thought it was all right? Thought it wasn't it? Let me know. Tell me more about the drama. I want to hear it all. Until then, I'll be waiting, y'all. So I'll catch y'all next time on another edition of Nerds in the Hood. Peace. It ends with us. You know she said that in the movie too? I forgot to throw that out there. She definitely said that in the movie. I hate when they do that in movies. It's so cheesy. It's like they do that in all Bond movies when they just be like, you only die twice, Mr. Bond, or something like that. I just didn't like that. Yeah, that was my one gripe. Forgot to say that. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.